Hey there guys, it's Greg, and in this video I want to show you new Kemet titled Blood and Sand. It's actually now I think arriving to backers. It's a new version of the Kemet, upgraded, enhanced a little bit and simplified in terms of rules and amount of elements, and we have a few upgrades that will make the game much easier to set up it on the table. So I think it's a very good upgrade. We have some minor issue. I had some minor issues with this game, but more or less I think it's a very good game. I am not going to show you this time a review, just an overview of the elements, because we didn't have still much time to play this game. We only played together to play a game. And it's not much to say and write anything about this game, as in every area control game, the more player the better, and to player games it's not enough. So that's it. Let's dig in and let's see what we can find in the box of new Kemet. Alright, so I would like to start with the mats. We have all in with everything with sleeves, so I can show you in a full package. So first of all, the mat is, if I'm not wrong, 20% bigger than a normal game board. We have place over here for a tray with tokens. We have place over here for add on the Book of the Dead. We have tracker over here for to track the order of the play, and you can maybe notice that we have 6 plays over here, and for now new Kemet is for 5 players. So and we can read it in the manual also, that in the future expansions they will introduce a 6th player, so that's why we have 6 over here. And over here we have 2 slots for divine cards, I guess it's how they divine intervention cards, yes. So over here are places for cards. And what else? Our map is different. Of course, we have again cities with 3 spots for pyramids. But what is new? We have ports, two types of ports, a blue one and a red one, and you can travel in different ways depending on from which port you are moving. So, for example, if you are using red port, you can go to the blue only port, but if you are using blue port, you can only go to the blue. So that's the difference. And there's also that port near to the city. That's extra rules over here for that port. Also, we have those obelisks like in the first version of the game, and the temples. I think all of them are exactly the same, so you can get 5 power if you will sacrifice one of your troops, one of your units, and you can sacrifice 2 units to get 1 victory point in this temple over here. So I think those mechanics are exactly the same. Mat is very cool. Colors are very vibrant. Of course, quality is a little bit. Quality of the print is a little bit lower than on a cardboard, but that's typical for the mats. So that's the mat. What else we can find in this all-in pledge? First add-on what we get, it's a Book of the Dead, and in here I already reorganized the game, so I will only show you what I've put it here. Because with the game we also get those boxes where you can store your extra variants of the game, let's say. So, for example, this box is for the Great Old Ones. So, when you're playing with the variant where you can summon Cthulhu or the other one, you can store them over here with their tiles. Over here, there's a place for the Sandworm, also another monster that you can summon and use. There's a box for Sacred Bull, and there's also a box for obelisks. And to be honest, all of those boxes are empty. I store everything in the big box, so I don't know what's the point of this, but they added this. Also, there's a few extra sleeves that are not used. I guess maybe they are for future expansions, or just if some of them were damaged, those are the extras. So now I can show you those sleeves, and they are like this. It's very nice, it's also very vibrant, and it's exactly the same print what we can find on the main on the box, on the main box. So those are the cards, and those three, I don't know why, I don't know what's the point of for them. Maybe they also for the future expansions, those 3 bags with serpent on them, white. I don't know what's the point for them. So I store all those extra things in this box. The rest is fits into the main box of the game. So now I will show you what we can find in the main box. So here it is, the main box. What is weird, I mean, that's second, or I don't know, another version of this game, and they of course improved it a lot, but still we have those elements that are not very clearly explained in the rulebook, and I will show you what I mean by that. And those, for example, those white bags are a good example, because I really don't know what's the point of them. But first of all, we have of course those manuals with explanation of every power tile, and with explanation when you're using the Great Old Ones add-on expansion, let's say, and when you're playing with Sandworm, if you're playing with Sacred Ball, all of those extra things are explained on those power tiles manuals, and that's not very intuitive. I was looking for those rules into the manual, and you can't find those rules over there, so it's a little bit confusing. So those are oh yeah, and there's also that manual of Book of the Dead. So it's very short. It's only 7 pages, 8 pages, but on those 2 last pages we have explanation of power tiles. So that's the extra thing. What do we have next? It's that tray with tokens. So those are all tokens that we have in a game. Again, we have square and round tokens, victory tokens, and extra thing. What do we have here are those scarabs. I don't remember that mechanic in previous Kemet. Those are just extra add-ons for players who at the night phase. You get those scarabs, for example, if you lost the battle, so you can use them to boost yourself in the next round. What is extra cool, and I love it, that they introduces those trays with lid, and those trays are just amazing, because one of the most annoying part of the old Kemet was setting up those tiles again and again and again, and they take a lot of space. And now everything is just ready. You just have to open the box, put it on the table, and you can play. So it's amazing. I love it so much. And those tiles are also a little bit changed. I mean, graphics are enhanced a little bit, and they changed those icons. They are now bigger, and they pop up from the tiles. But more or less, they are exactly the same as in previous Kemet. But those trays, that's amazing upgrade. It's great that they added this. It's great that they added this thing to the box. Now tiles. So this one is for expansion. This one is used when you don't have a mat. That's exactly the same as this one, and you're using it to track your points. And again, there's a tracker of the round. I think I said it's for the add-on this one. No, it's for tracking your points. Victory points, of course. And we have those tiles for every player. We have 5 of them, but first of all I will show you those 2 sandstorms, and you use them. This one, for example, over here you put this when you're playing with 2-player games. So this, you're of course using the left side of the Nile, and this city is not used. So only those 2 in the corners, the two cities in the corners are used, and this one is not used. And those 2 sandstorms are just to set up the game for different number of the players. When we are gonna play 6-player game, none of these tiles are used. And now let's go to the tiles of the gods. So we have 5 of them in the core game. So what do we have? It's Anubis, I guess. A game is works exactly the same. So here are our points. Here is our pyramid. There's also that equilibrium rule. So everything is exactly the same. They only added those 3 spaces over here. So when you will build your pyramid in specific color, you will put a specific token over here, and you now can remember that you can use this place to activate the specific color of the pyramid. So there's Anubis, there is, oh my god, I don't know how to read it. There is Sobek, there is Horus, and there is of course Bastet. It's I love it because that's a very thick cardboard, and you can put all your tokens inside, so they will not move when you're, I don't know, playing and suddenly kicks the table or whatever. And what else we have here? So that's the box, and the worst part is, as you can see over here, for the storage for all of the monsters that you can summon. I put all of them in here. As I show you earlier, you can store them in those cardboard boxes, but I really don't know what's the point of this, because everything can fit over here. And now I have whole game in one box, and separating it to the second box and just taking only one miniature, it's pointless, I think. So before the minis, I will show you those bags. So every god have that bag with all necessary components that you need to during the play. So what do we have new in terms of those components? Minis are. So let's start with the minis. As you can see, the problem of bending elements still is here. But you know, I don't mind it, because it's typical for those kind of games, especially with those very small minions units. And they are actually bigger and more detailed than those in a first Kemet. So here is a Sobek. I think they're looking just okay. It's nothing. It's nothing new. It's exactly as in the Mezzo or in Lords of Hellas. It's just typical minion that you're using on the map. Nothing spectacular. But I should mention that those minis are bigger and still much more detailed than those from previous Kemet. So it's of course an upgrade, and it's that you can see that upgrade. It's not just on the paper. The second thing that they introduced those pyramids. You're not using gigantic dice. Now we have pyramids, and they are just assembled. So, for example, first level of the pyramid looks like this, and you need to put the colorful node upside down, so you can see that's still in the construction. And if you are adding a next layer, so for example, if you're adding next layer, it's like this, and so on and so on. So final layer, when you're building the last layer of the pyramid, you're just putting it like this. And those nodes are in 4 colors. So the last color, green one, is from the Adam. And those are the most biggest differences, new things versus old Kemet when it comes to the components of the player. So next, in this space, I'm keeping my obelisks. Maybe I can show you. So here you can see that obelisk, and what is weird, I can't understand why they designed it like this, because in the manual I couldn't find any word about those obelisks, and one thing that you can read about them is again in those leaflets with a description of all power tiles, and on one page over here If you play with the game app Obelisk, you are using those 4 divine intervention cards. What does it mean? I don't know. I guess that if you are using plastic obelisks, I guess. I don't know. But that's a good way to just mark on the map that where are the obelisks where you can teleport. So that's a weird solution. I don't understand it, but it is what it is. So here are those extra tiles that you are using when you are adding extra variant to the game. So when you are playing with the bull, with sandworm, or when you are playing with great old ones. So the Cthulhu and the second one I do not know how to pronounce. So these you will just change during setup with some of the tiles from the base game. And what else do we have? Because we are slowly going to the end. Over here are, of course, those battle cards. They are exactly the same as in a previous game. They're just redesigned a little bit. They're now. Yeah, of course I have them in the sleeves, so it's very easy to shuffle them. It's very, very nice, very good quality. I think they just a little bit pimped up the design, and that's it. There's nothing new. There's nothing spectacular over here, but it looks great. It's very vivid, and I just like it. And I love that they simplify the game a lot, because as you noticed, as I said, we only have 3 types of tokens now, and in previous game there was much more of them. And over here we have those divine intervention cards. Also thick deck, and they changed the icons. I think they are now bigger. For sure that place in the middle is much bigger than in a previous Kemet. So it's just much more easier to read and understand. I think that the icons in the previous Kemet were a little bit more confusing, and you had to use that leaflet with explanation much often. Now it's easier to learn them and remember what they do. So those are the cards, and finally monsters. But before the monsters, now the final element over here I want to show you. It's a game board. So here it is. It's a game board on a mat. It's smaller. Actually, difference is a very big difference between those two elements. Because the play game is here's the difference. Yeah, that's I think that 20% more or less. But it's very cool that they added that element over here to organize your game. So there's a place for the tray like this. Here you can put your divine cards. Here you can track your amount of your victory points. So it's looks very cool on the table. Everything has its own place on the table, and it is very easy to play the game. And setup is much quicker. I'm the guy who always needs to set up all the games, and I appreciate every change that helps me to make it much more faster. So now I will show you some minis. First of all, they are much bigger than those in a previous Kemet, more detailed, and more or less that's it. They are just bigger and more detailed. So here's a serpent, and here is that elephant. What I noticed that I think that was not a thing in previous Kemet, that we can see those joints more often than in previous version of the game. Like over here you can see. It's nothing big, but still, when they are upgrading the game and they're making it like better, I guess, I think they could work a little bit more with those elements. That's some kind of god, I guess. That's the sandworm that you can use in one of the game variants. And there's somewhere... Oh yeah, the Cthulhu. He's actually a very big miniature. The biggest one in whole game. When you put it on your hand, it's like this. So I think it's very big. Very big miniature. And what is sad that the Cthulhu and the guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, they don't have their unique skills. They just use the same skills that are in that green pyramid. So if I want to show you this is the green pyramid. Those are the tiles for the green pyramid. And if you will build that pyramid, you can summon Tot and a bow piece. But you can change them to Cthulhu and they have exactly the same skills as those two guys above. So that's a little bit sad. They could change them a little bit, but that's just cosmetic change. Again, another gigantic snake, and again joints over here are visible. If you want to paint it, I mean, those previous, to be honest, previous Kemet wasn't the game I would say that's worth painting, but these ones are nice. Those are good minis that you can paint them and upgrade your game. So use some kind of Sphinx. And what else? The guy, I don't know how to say his name, and I don't know what's that. But again, that's I think the biggest issue with those minis. You see, again, there's a gap between the elements. The head is glued, and it's visible. Hello. So as you can see, minis are bigger, they are much more detailed, but that biggest issue are those gaps between elements that were glued together. So more or less that's it. There's a few more extra minis, but there's nothing more to show. That's the bull, the variant of the game. I think the bull was also in the previous Kemet. So that's the Kemet. Yeah, and then the final element. It's I don't know what is that. It's a sticker? No. It's not a sticker. It's it's an art, and you can, I don't know what, put it somewhere. So that's it. That's the new Kemet. We very like this game because it's area control, but it's very quick game, and there's you can finish it very quickly. But that the game, as I think with all area control games, you need to have more players at the table to enjoy the game. But the biggest advantage of the Kemet is that it's very easy to learn this game, to explain it, and every player gets that leaflet, so everyone can check quickly what they can do with different power tiles. So I think it's a good game for a start. If you want to start your journey with area control games, Kemet is, I think, one of the best choices. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next game.